Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, we're gonna change gears just a bit, and I have been over the last year or so one of the only people to really talk a lot about strategy and because DFS takes place on so many different levels, okay? And there's a few key terms that I want to talk to you all about with. Now, all of this was sparked from a conversation that came up in the sweatshop in the Facebook VIP, man. The homie Dylan Zink, man, him, Rhino DFS, a few guys, brought up some really solid points, some shit that we need to go over, okay? All right, I want you to journey with me a little bit. First, I'm gonna throw out three terms to you, okay? I'm gonna throw out three terms. Number one is gonna be bankroll management. Bankroll management. The second is gonna be ROI, return on investment. We're gonna talk about that. The next one we're gonna talk about is rate of return. So we're gonna talk about bankroll management, and those two things encapsulate bankroll management. So we're gonna talk about rate of return and return on your investment, the overall return on your investment. These are all items that we're going to be discussing, okay? Now, I want you to journey with me because if you've been with me since last year NFL and rolling into NBA, then you probably did some of this stuff without even knowing, okay? And I'm going to give you a little bit of background. The best I'd ever done was in MLB. Rolled into NFL season, did pretty well there. Went into NBA 2 years ago, blew it out, okay? Destroyed NBA. Won the most amount of money I've won to date in NBA, as far as being profitable on the season. Got the 1099s, you know what I mean? From FanDuel and DraftKings. And something that happened along the way was I learned the type of player that I was. And that's the first. It's one of the first things you've got to do if you're gonna play this game. One thing you've got to do is learn the type of player that you are. If you're a guy that loves the rush, loves the excitement of winning big, you want to take down a GPP, or you want to get a nice $5,000 grab for the night, then that means you should be investing in the guaranteed prize pools that are large, where guys can put in 150 lineups around you, or maybe you want to put in 150 lineups. That's on you. Or you want to get in those head-to-heads or those three-mans that are $5,000, $1,000, $1,500, those high-dollar tournaments, right? Now, if you are a guy who just wants to be a profitable player, at the end of the year you want to be, or end of the season you want to be able to say, well, damn man, I fucked around and made $5,000. Man, that was pretty good. Grinding it out. Then you should invest more in single entry and and cash games. Cash games are the games where half of the field or 49% of the field can double their money. The tournament costs five. Excuse me, the train. I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. I live now on the wrong side of the tracks. Do not let it take you away from this tutorial, because this is solid shit. Because I'm gonna tell you what happened during NBA. Everybody got so enamored with who was the motherfucking snowflake that they really missed. That they left the meat and potatoes on the plate. That happened a lot during NBA. And if it wasn't for Rudy coming along and really doing that work he did with that perfect lineup strategy, we would have seen a lot less winners, right? Josh Dewey says, I'm not a cash player at all. He knows what kind of player he is. I'm not so much of a cash player, but I do play. My rendition of cash games are these single entry GPPs. I feel like, especially when it comes to NBA, I feel like I am so well versed in the realm of NBA DFS that I don't give a fuck. Put me up against the best sharks, and I guarantee you I can win some. That's how I feel about NBA. But you have to be honest with yourself as a DFS player and think of it as like a star system from 1 through 5, right? This is how I found out the type of player that I was. If you remember during NBA, Paul Harless, I'm sure you remember a lot about this. We talked about winning 4 of 10, hitting 4 of 10 slates, right? What I figured out in NBA was that based off my knowledge, what I knew, the way I played the game, the way I picked the guys I picked, I found out that 4 out of 10 slates, I could make a very solid return on my investment when it came to GPPs. That's what I learned about myself. I learned that 4 out of 10, I was going to be heavily into the cash and be in a solid spot. Case in point, if I put a dollar in, if I play $1 in a GPP 10 times, 10 days, every day, I play $1. 4 out of 10 of those, I would win 4 out of 10 of those, which would cover the $10 that I put in for those days and then some. Sometimes it would double that, sometimes it would triple that, sometimes it even 100 times that. That's the type of player that I knew I was, right? So what I realized was, okay, 4 out of 10 slates for me, the type of player that I am a 4-star player when it comes to NBA. Think of it from 1 to 10. I'm a 4-star player when it comes to NBA. Most people that just jump into a DFS are going to be 1-star players. They're not going to cash very often, no matter what they play. Cash games, GPP, no matter what. And most people are losers. We're talking about a game where most motherfuckers that play lose, okay? Especially if you don't know exactly what you're doing when it comes to your managing your bankroll, right? The Sharks had losses with cash games. I do the same. Yeah, that's coming from Rhino DFS. If you want to be successful, do what successful people do. The Sharks, they hedge their losses with cash games. In essence, they use their cash game winnings to fund their GPP exploits. That's what he's saying, and that's a very viable practice. And what I want to talk to you about in this video, most specifically, is finding out what kind of player you are and how well you do what you do. So let's just say this. If you really want to find out how good of a player you are and your percentage out of 10, what you would do out of 10, for the next 10 slates you play like you normally play, do whatever you do, but for the next 10 slates, you take a quarter game on DraftKings or a dollar game on FanDuel, and you play just the guys you want to play. You play your lineup, right, for 10 days, and you go back and you look and you see how many times you had a lineup that was in the green. And that's going to tell you the kind of player that you are. In 10 slates, you're probably going to be average, and you're probably going to win 3 out of those 10. Maybe 4 out of those 10. And that's going to tell you the type of player that you are in tournaments, right? So once you do that, once you know the kind of player you are and the success that you can have from slate to slate, that's when you start to work on your bankroll management. Like, well, how much should I invest? Where should I invest? See, during NBA season, I thought that all of this shit was like ingrained in all of you. Everybody who followed me in a sweatshop from NBA, that single entry is the way to go. As a matter of fact, I don't play any tournament where there's not a maximum amount of entries. 20 max, I'll play them, but I'll play them sparingly. I play more single entry than anything because, number one, I like the rush of being able to win that top flight big money in the GPP, and I love the floor of safety that you get in cash games. I love people being able to put in one lineup because I feel like if you match me up against any shark, 4 out of 10 slates, I'm gonna be up high in the cash in the cash line. That's what I feel. That's what I know about my game, about where I am as far as MLB DFS. Now, are there people that's better than me? Fuck yeah, there's some people in the shop that's better than me. Rhino DFS says I've had a losing night 3 times in the last 16 days, and that for me, from what I know of him and the way he plays, that's a lot to do with his cash game exposure, right? Kaheem Jones says he plays the dollar winner take all, and also okay, so there's something. Wait, let me turn my AC off. One second. There's another area that we can talk about that a lot of you just view it as some kind of cool catchphrase or something you can say and it sounds pretty good, might look good on a shirt, but I'm sure you're not doing it. And it is making lineups in turbos and throwing them bitches in the main. Like that, I don't understand why more of us aren't doing that. See, and what that does, that's an easy way to not only create a unique lineup, because I'm telling you, I guarantee you, Like let's look at tomorrow. We've got a 15 game all day slate, right? So we got all day. If you make a lineup in just the early slate and put it in the all day, I guarantee you it's going to be unique. It's going to be way unique. So that way you can roster players that you like, but don't have to worry about ownership. If you condense your player pool to let's say 15 game all day tomorrow, I'm just going to be playing guys from the six games from the six game early. Any lineup I make in there that I really really like, I'm gonna throw it in the all day main, right? That works. What it does is it takes the stress of you having to worry about ownership when it comes to a 15 game save. You're not going to worry about ownership because it's only six games. You're going to roster the best lineup you can in six games, throw that bitch in the main. Everybody else is going to be spread out across 15 games. There's going to be hits, there's going to be misses, there's going to be negative points, there's going to be craziness. But you have condensed your player pool without having to do so looking at 15 games. Another strategy that I don't think a lot of people are using. So everything you need to become a profitable player is available to you, has been available to you since the start of this show. That's why my show started. That's why I did it. Because I found success. I was like, oh shit. Yo, if I stick to single entry GPPs, Mo, I became a way better DFS player when I stopped caring about ownership, but I do understand it. Yeah. And see, understanding ownership is important because you can get a good look at how other people are playing. But a good play is a good play, regardless of the ownership. That's something else that we need to understand. So looking at our rate of return, okay? Now you're gonna get returns in three ways. Number one, you put $100 in DraftKings or FanDuel. You put $500 in DraftKings or FanDuel. You're gonna know your rate of return by how soon you're depositing. If you're redepositing, you don't have a good rate of return. Okay, that's one. The next way you look at the return you're gonna get on your investment is when you play, when you enter your dollar in a tournament and DraftKings give you 50K in player salary. When you buy a player, that's an investment. You're making when you say, hey, I'm gonna pay 11.2 for Clayton Kershaw tonight. That was an investment. Now, what did you get in return tonight for that? We got 14 some odd DraftKings points. So there is a return on the investment, right? Sometimes the return is negative. I played Miguel Gonzalez tonight. I paid 8.1K for him. Got back negative 1.25 points. That was a negative return, right? So you look at the next level of return is how much are you going to get off your buy-in when you do buy into a tournament. When you pay that dollar, how much are you going to get back? That's the return, the rate of return on your investment. Okay? Oh, excuse me, 18 for Kershaw. I'm sorry, 18 for Kershaw. Sorry about that. Kershaw got cause he got the win. He was at 14 and he got the win, right? Kershaw tonight. So these are all very important things. And I don't want them to get lost in the who's the motherfucking snowflake and all of the funny shit and the way that I try to entertain you. Because, of course, I want you to watch the show. I don't want you to be like, damn, this dude just talks about numbers and this shit ain't funny. I don't want, fuck that. I want you to have fun, but I also want you to win money. I also want you to be around. It's a long season. I want you to be here. I don't want you to throw your entire bankroll away and end up and keep redepositing. I don't want you to keep doing that, right? So there's a few things you got to take a look at. Gauge yourself as a player. Know the type of player that you are. Understand right now, and if you find that in 10 slates you win twice, then that means you need to pay more attention to what's going on in the group, the actual plays, because that's another whole area. It's two spots we talk about in DFS. It's two spots we're talking about. We're talking about the actual plays, being able to play good plays, right? Then we're talking about the monetary aspect. Knowing where to put your money, knowing where to play your tournaments, putting yourself in situations where you are limited in who you can get, throwing them bitches in the main. That's just not a catchphrase, bro. That's some real shit. That's creating lineups in small condensed player pools that you feel like you can get a good, a fair amount of points from, and then throwing them in the bigger slates. It works. It's a thing. It's a real thing. And it's crazy how so many of us don't use it. We look at tomorrow, right? On tomorrow's early, we've got all right now inside of the early slate, the 6-game early slate. I'm sure there's a turbo that we can take advantage of. Matter of fact, I'm gonna open it up on DraftKings right now. I'm sorry, YouTube, you can't see this. If you were a subscriber, you could definitely see what I'm doing here on the screen. But I want you to understand this, man. I want you to understand this. Let's create a lineup. If you just make the cash line, you only make 35% profit versus doubling your money. That's coming from cash players, right? And if you just starting out, the best place to start out is in cash. So look at this. Okay, this is an example. Now in the early, you've got 6 games in the early. That stretches from 105 to the 705 start of the 9 games. Now in the afternoon slate, you've got 3 games, right? There's a 3-game afternoon slate. So everybody who's playing this early, how much of them you think are going to limit their exposure to just these 3 games that are in the afternoon at 4:05? No. People are going to play games at 1 o'clock. So if you limit your exposure to in this slate to just the 3 games, you condense your player pool, you're going to have a unique lineup. It's going to be unique. That's a strategy. It's a strategy that I want you to use. You need to use that if you want to be profitable. MLB is about finding the right game. NBA is about finding the right guys. That's very true. That is very true. So Jeremy Ladd just brought that point. So when you look inside of a slate, a full, 9-game slate, and then at the nighttime you have a 9-game slate, right? And this works most specifically at night. Let's say a night like last night, where the Diamondbacks went the fuck off. Now, if you stack the Diamondbacks, you win. You get to the money. If you'd just played in that late slate and threw that bitch in the main, you would have avoided the Kershaw shit. You would have had Cueto, and you would have had a Diamondback stack. That would have got you to the money. You know what I'm saying? So it's way more than plays in some spots. And see, that's the problem, because most of us that are really good at plays are not really good at managing our bankroll. And most of us that a lot of us that manage our bankroll really good. We play 10%. We throw 80% in single entry GPPs and 20% in the large GPPs. It's the plays sometimes throw us off. So take a look at that, because everybody likes to talk about a 10% rule. I mean, if you got $1,000 right now in your DraftKings or FanDuel account, say you got a stack, you got $1,000. Take 100, right? 80 of that 100 you invest in cash games and single entry GPPs. $20 of that 100 you invest in the larger GPPs with no limit entry. You're gonna be profitable. You're gonna be profitable. If the plays coincide and are good, and you're a 4-star player, a guy that can hit 4 out of 10 slates, like I am, you're gonna be profitable. You're gonna be. Like I'm in the green right now when it comes to MLB, because that's the same approach I take with NBA. I've taken with MLB. I thought that was so ingrained in the community, in our group, because no other guys don't talk about this, man. They don't. They just tell you, oh, I like this guy. Play this guy. Play this guy. I like this guy. They don't tell you where to play. That's what I'm saying about MLB turbos. In a 3-game turbo, the winning lineup might be 140 points. That won't do nothing in the main. In NBA, you can still hit 300 off of 2 games. And now, Rudy, I kind of disagree there, because go back and look, bro. The higher scoring slates are the late. The West Coast games are usually high scoring. You can get more points because you got Coors over there. You got Safeco over there. I mean, you got the Diamondback Stadium over there. When those guys are on the slate, that's why Coors is a thing. That's why the Diamondback Stadium is a thing. You know what I mean? Because those guys play later games. They're most likely, more often than not, they're in the late slate. They're not 7:05 games. So if you roster toward that back end, that top end of each slate, there's a greater chance you're going to have more higher scoring lineups. There's a greater chance you're going to do that. That's a strategy that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of West Coast folks get that. A lot of us here on the East and the South, we don't really understand that about MLB DFS. When that rings true in NBA as well. The West Coast teams score more points. They just do. Teams in the West Coast score more points. That's just a thing. And that's a thing. And it's something that we've got to understand and incorporate in our roster builds and where we put our money. We've got to incorporate that in where we put our money. Okay. Now it's been some time since I really got down deep and talked about this. Also, pay attention to the efficiency of GPPs. In GPPs, I play whatever slate has the best value depending on how much I'm playing that day. I can dig that. I don't think it's a chase field thing. I think it's an Arizona at home versus inferior pitching is a thing. Well, and if you look at the actual park factors, man, the way the park sets up, it's more of a hitter's park for that too. You know what I mean? And their lineup is so deep, definitely. And those are teams that you want to target more often than not. Those teams that are that high that score runs, score a lot of runs, especially teams that hit home runs. You know what I mean? So let's not be confused about this, man. This is just as much a bankroll management thing as it is a who's the good play for the night thing, and I don't want that to get lost in it. So we look at it in three aspects. Good plays. We want good plays. Regardless of ownership, we want good plays. It doesn't matter who else has them. We want good plays regardless of ownership. Number two, we really want to manage our bankrolls to the point that we can continue to play each and every night. Nobody in here should ever say, man, I lost it all tonight. Because you shouldn't have played it all. Especially on DraftKings, they got quarter games. Get your weight up. I know it ain't sexy to take down a quarter arcade tournament, but it's profitable. I know it ain't sexy, to finish in the top 100 in the quarter arcade because you're probably going to get like $3, but that's more to play with tomorrow. It's a slow grind, especially MLB, right? The next thing is, where am I going to be placing my money? How am I going to divvy it up? Am I going to play, single entry GP? I don't think you should have any large GPP tournament without some form of cash game or single entry to back that entry up. Because you gotta look at you're swimming in shark infested waters, bro, where cats can enter 150 lineups, and I think and I think they knew we were catching on to that. They knew we were catching on to that. That's why they got those 20 entry maxes, so that all of those guys can enter 20 lineups, and we rarely do enter 20. I know I might play 2 or 3 in the 20 entry max, but I've got most of my money involved in the single entry GPPs. I put all my lineups in the quarter games. If you win it, ranges from 100 to 250 depending on the size of the slate. Coming from Jeremy Ladd. Very solid. Now we are going to chop up the slate too, but I really felt like I needed to spend this first few minutes of the show, really breaking down to you, trying to impress upon you to figure out your formula. Every player, each one of us has on the inside our individual formula for success. If you're going to play $20 in GPPs and there's 2 slates with one being 150K and another slate being 100K, play the one with the better value. Most definitely. Most definitely. I have a hard time picking the right player the day they go off. That's more of a process thing, homie. Then the other day, they can be cold and have a hard time knowing when to play them. And we all have that guy. Everybody has that guy who you can't get right. Higher the buy-in, the fewer people we all know that. Let's keep it real. The shop can compete with sharks. It's buy-in, playing 25. Okay, that's another wrinkle. That's another wrinkle in the game. Because the higher the buy-in, the lower the cash line. Believe it. I believe it. The higher the buy-in, the lower the cash line. And think about it. In quarter games, it's a fucking quarter. You can get as sexy as you want in quarter games. You know what I'm saying? You can get as sexy as you want in quarter games. You can play motherfuckers just off the basis you think they might hit a home run. Fuck it, I don't know. You can just play straight BVP when it comes to quarter games. But think about it. The higher your buy-in, the safer you like to play it. You hear everybody's gonna be playing Kershaw, and then you got a $25 buy-in or $20 buy-in. You're gonna play Kershaw too. You know what I mean? You don't get as sexy with the buy-in. So the more you play, the higher the buy-in, the lower the cash line. Remember that. Hell yeah, I learned that in NFL. High buy-in cash lines were far lower. Most definitely. So am I telling you to step the game up and play higher? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just giving you, the emphasis on that. So gauge yourself for the next. Oh yeah, they get sexy in the quarter games. You see all kind of people. You be like, damn, and the dude hit a home run. You like, damn, I had no idea about playing him. Of course you didn't. It's a quarter game. So what I want you to do, man, is Go ahead and test yourself, gauge yourself. Over the next 10 slates, you make one quarter lineup. You make one quarter lineup, playing the guys that you like. You play your lineup, right? And take a look in 10 slates where you finish. If you find yourself in the GPP, in the quarter games, I played 10 straight and I won 3 out of 10. And then ask yourself, did that 3 out of 10 cover that $2.50? Did you win more than $2.50? And that's going to be your rate of return. That's going to be your rate of return. So let's say you play 10 quarter games in 10 days. And of those 10 days, you win $5. Now, in that 10-day span, it cost you $2.50. But added together, those 3 or 4 wins you had brought you back $5. So that means you doubled your overall 10-day buy-in, right? That means in GPP, that's the kind of player that you are. Then take it to the next level, dollar games. And that's how you will learn the type of player that you are. Now, if you're finding that you're losing, that means you need to put more of your emphasis on cash. Process over results. I follow a $2 to $1 rule. For every dollar I play in tournaments, I play $2 in cash to recoup losses. If I hit in tournaments, it's extra money, but I don't end the night in the negative regardless. And that's key. That's key. And that's for an experienced player to do things like that. That's coming from Rhino DFS. That's an experienced player doing that. So if this guy is experienced and he attempts to back up his tournament ventures with cash games, if you're new, you should be playing cash games like a motherfucker, man. Or at least single entries. At the very least. Like, I implore people to play single entries, regardless of the sport. Would you consider double up? Yes, double ups are cash games. Play head-to-heads, coming from Jeffrey Abbey. Those are cash games. Cash games are head-to-head tournaments. Cash games are double ups, 50-50s. Those are cash games. In between that and the GPPs are going to be your multipliers, and of course the single entries. And then the next step up from that is going to be those free for all 100,000 man tournaments where anybody could put in 150 lineups. Double ups, 50-50s, 3 to 30 mans, heads to heads are all good cash games. That's coming from Jeremy Ladd. So, and I think we were riding so high off a lot of the success that we had in NBA, that we went directly into MLB with the same strategy. And I think that, the shifting gears needed to happen. Because quite honestly, a lot of people that's coming over from NBA don't have that MLB knowledge from day to day. Because, see, I know just enough about MLB to where my profit is there. I'm profitable. My profit is there. I know just enough about MLB to where my profit is there. Now, I know so much about NBA to where I'm profit then some. If I don't make a couple thousand on my NBA season, I'm mad. Like some shit is fucking wrong. Some shit is off of the table for me. Same thing with NFL. You know what I'm saying? I played 3-entry max tournaments. Yeah, I played a 3-entry max. I'm just sticking with daily NFL fantasy. I can dig that. Because that's when we're going to really go in that spot too. But for those of you that do want to get involved in MLB, I'm just trying to coach you up to get you to understand exactly how this thing works, man. It's different. It's different facets of the game that you got to get under control. And we talked about this a lot in the VIP, man. Dylan Zink brought it up, about the formula that you use when it comes to generating how you're gonna divvy up your money that you're putting in certain spots, like where you're gonna place your money. And you're not gonna know. Everybody has a different formula because number one, everybody has a different bankroll. Everybody has a different process. Everybody has different plays. I'm barely learning MLB, but the strategy I use is still working despite how little I know. It's more strategy than knowledge, in my opinion. Exactly, because there's such a variance associated with MLB as opposed to NFL and NBA. because you can pretty much tell, like in NFL, a starting running back, you know, touches equal points. Like touches equal points. You give a running back 20 carries. You give a bad running back 25 carries. You give a good running back 10. Who you gonna take? If I case in point, if I know for a fact that, let's just say in NFL, if I know for a fact that Le'Veon Bell is gonna get 7 carries in the game, if I know that for a fact, he's only gonna get 7 carries, right? But I also know for a fact that uh, Paul Perkins from the Giants is going to get 24 carries. I'm playing Paul Perkins, baby. I'm playing Paul Perkins. I'm playing Paul Perkins. In NBA, that's never in question. You already know James Harden going to take all the shots, regardless of what. And if he doesn't, everybody's mad, like, oh my God, what the fuck? James Harden didn't take all the shots. You already know, right? You know that. And you already know in NBA. Minutes in NBA. Unless you're talking about Tony Snell, then minutes don't matter. But in MLB, everybody gets, I'm sure you meant catches, just messing with you. Right. Now, also Perkins will likely, that's not Jeremy Ladd. See, now you busting the gun. Now you're busting the gun. You don't turn on the red light. Okay? Because you know Paul Perkins is going to be 3K on DraftKings. So it makes perfect sense. Right? Now now when it comes to MLB, everybody's probably going to see the same amount of at-bats. Everybody's probably going to get the same amount of opportunity. And the reason why we love the leadoff man so much is because he's probably the only guy that's probably going to get an extra at-bat. So MLB, the variance, man, because everybody gets the same amount of at-bats. Pretty much. In a game. You know what I mean? So that's what makes MLB so different. That's what makes MLB so different from all the other sports. And I don't think we've quite yet adjusted to that variance. But as the season goes on, we will. Because we the DFS Sweatshop. And we're going to come out on top. Because that's what we do. That's what we have done. That's what we're accustomed to doing. So, and honestly, man, in the growth of the shop, man, there's been some quite controversial shit to come up that totally would disband any other shit. But the number one point behind this is it's an altruistic movement, man. One man helping another man. That's why it continues to survive any controversy. There was a time when the group first started, I had some guys that came up with me from YouTube. I had them here, isolated in a group, and then I started some of the paid sources. And appreciation for some of those guys on YouTube rocking with me when nobody else would. They were just in the group. So then we had this group over here, and then we had a paid group over here. And then it came out like, yo, there's 2 groups. And everybody went nuts, there's 2 groups. It just so happened that the guys that were in the paid group weren't doing as well right then and there. And the guys that were in the YouTube VIP that came over, they were crushing. So they were like, you're cheating us, you're trying to scam us, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, I'm really not. What should I do, merge the groups? They were like, yeah, we want to get over there with them. So they go over there with them. Everybody starts crushing. You know what I'm saying? So the sweatshop is changeable, man. It's changeable. And the decisions are made by you. Like, you decide what happens in the shop. That's why when Dylan brought this up, I felt like, it was a call to action. Like, yo, let everybody know exactly how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Also need to find good road splits in MLB. Road teams always bat 9 innings. Home teams, if leading, doesn't. So there's so many curves, man, and twists and turns to this shit, man. And I still like to say that, yeah, you might think this shit is run by me, but it's really not. I just do the videos and love everybody and shout at everybody. But actually, the shit is being run by the VIP. Like, they tell me what the fuck to do. The man was like, yo, you need to make a video on bankroll management because people in here ain't managing this shit. And we got to get this right. We got to fix this. And that's what I'm about. I'm about fixing problems. Okay? So, again, in reiteration, when I say throw them bitches in the main, I'm not saying it because it's cool, man. It's real. Throw them bitches in the main. Make you some lineups in the turbos and the shorter slates and throw them bitches in the main, especially if you like them. Okay? And I don't give a fuck what kind of research you did last time. If you didn't come up to an Arizona stack, something was wrong. The writing was on the wall. Single or 3 inches for you. Good strategy. Good strategy. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. And I want this thing to stay tight, man, because nobody else is talking about this. Nobody else is teaching this, and it's not sexy. And I've talked for 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and I ain't talked about baseball yet, because there's so much more than just the game. I've been trying to tell people for the last 2 years, this shit is way more than just plays in a game. This shit is so much deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? NBA is more about ownership. You know what I'm saying? NBA is more about ownership because there's only 5 dudes on the court at a time. Only 5 people can contribute on the court at a time. NBA is so much about ownership, right? MLB, not so much for 2 reasons. Number one, you got 9 dudes that can contribute. 10 if you count the pitchers. And you got 15 games, most slates. So the shit is spread out. Ownership is going to be spread out anyway. Remember, we didn't see a lot of these big slates like this in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see a lot of these in NBA. We didn't. NBA, you had 8 games, you had 7 games, you had 9 games, you had a 6 game, you had 4 games. Damn, we got the damn 4 game slate in NBA. So ownership mattered then. But in MLB, ownership does not matter as much because there's always so many fucking games. There's always so many games. We're gonna see 11 to 15 games like all season long. So that ownership shit kind of know it that guys are gonna be high owned, and let that help you in your decision making when it comes to guys that you're gonna play. But don't let it take you off of a good play. Too many are focused on 20K and being profitable. That's right. That's right. Agree. I don't like NFL. Maybe for the first few weeks before the injuries hit and a bunch of scrubs and timeshare set in. Yeah. NFL, no, my brother. That's why we gonna help you. That's why we got your back. Because the coverage that we are gonna give to NFL this season is gonna be second to none. I'm telling you. 2 game slates, we're doing a show. We're not just gonna sit around and talk shit until Sunday and then tell everybody who to play on Sunday. No, that's not what we're doing. A 2 game slate is gonna be an in-depth show for that. Monday, Sunday night game, because usually it was a Sunday and Monday. Monday game is gonna be an in-depth show breaking down Sunday, Monday. Then we're gonna turn around and do another one for Monday, Thursday. Like football, we're gonna get so in-depth in football, it's gonna be ridiculous, bro. That's the plan. You know what I'm saying? Because I know Rhino has got his stuff going on. Is about to do his own thing in some spots, man. So, yo, this shit is going to get lit for NFL. So, I just wanted to impress that upon you, man. Really break that down. Develop a process. Don't just develop, the way you pick your plays, but develop your bankroll process. You know what I mean? How much you're going to play, where you're going to play. And I always, stress upon you to jump into, I was 16 fucking innings. They're still playing, bro. Am I still in the money? Cause these motherfuckers been playing forever. Let me check if I'm still in the money. God damn, these motherfuckers been playing forever. I was trying to wait till the game was over to do the show, but these motherfuckers still playing. And it's 2-2. Well, at least no pitcher gonna get a win. Fuck it, they can't knock me off the money. I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. Jesus, that's a long ass game, B. Top of the 16th. Good lord. And it's a 2-2 game. So let's go ahead, man. You need that game to end. Right behind me, dude's behind you with belt. He's making you sweat. I got it. I'm still in the money, but they holding my money up. Yeah, that's how they do it, man. Shout out to the homie J Who Pete's, man. Good to see you, big fam. Yo, Rhino says the YouTube cats better get in here for NFL. I'm telling you, this shit is gonna be so live, but we're not done yet with MLB at all. So, taking a look. Of course, we got 15 games. 105 is the first pitch going out, and I gotta be at the barbershop at 7 in the morning, and it's 3:10 Eastern time. I gotta be at the barbershop at 7 in the morning. My first appointment is at 7 a.m., but I had to get this to you. The end of the game shouldn't affect nothing. The end of the game, because no pitcher should get a win, so we're good. A pitcher needs to hit a jack. A pitcher needs to hit a home run and to kill the game. Cueto, banger, not Cueto, he's not playing anymore, but whoever the pitcher is right now should bang a jack and that'll kill it. I don't never get no sleep, man. It's mine getting no sleep. I don't ever get no sleep. It's the love, man. It's the love of the shop, B. Got me up. You know what I'm saying? So we do have 15 games here. I'm gonna pop open some fan graphs so that we can take a look there, and I will try my best, YouTube, to verbalize the information to you. I know you can't see what I got pulled up here, but a remedy for that is simply join us here in the sweatshop, and you can see everything that we're doing, man. So we're gonna be jumping into. I want to highlight, of course, K percentage on Fangraphs. I want to also highlight. And shout out to everybody that moved over and got into the Slack chat, man. Slack chat is kind of litty. I like it. It's gonna take some getting used to, but I do like it. All right, we're gonna highlight some pitching here, and we're gonna with an emphasis on K per 9, a really solid stat there. And we're also gonna be jumping to some ISO and WOBA stuff. We wanna know what's up there. So I have to open up all these windows to navigate swiftly. Hopefully, man, they're gonna get back to me about a possible sponsorship, so I can use this stuff on the YouTube show and not just in the Facebook VIP. So we're working on that, man. We should be knowing something about that pretty soon, and hopefully we can go there. All right, so now we're gonna be highlighting some WOBA and ISO, getting into that. And now let me find my Fangraphs ISO. And see, now y'all seeing how I set up for the entire show. Y'all seeing how I set up for the entire show. Pair him with Sale. Oh yeah, we gonna chop it up. We're gonna chop it up real quick. So, that's stuff to remember, man. Remember that stuff, man. Remember that stuff. And right now we're gonna talk a little bit about pitching. We're gonna go into some batter plays too, just because it's an early state and I won't have a ton of time in the afternoon to really go over these things. So let's get into it, man. First game we got on that early slate is gonna be the Tampa Bay Rays and the Boston Red Sox. I believe we have Blake Snell and Chris Sale without a doubt tomorrow. I'm so mad right now. I did an initial stack of left-hand bats from the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. The lineup that generated first from RotoQL, first in a qualifier. I don't play that shit, fam. That's it. I'm the same way. I like to go 7 tabs open. Yeah, that's right. You gotta have them tabs open, baby, so you can easily navigate. All right. So first game we're gonna talk about is the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay, right? So the first thing that jumps off to me here. The very first thing that jumps off to me is I know I've got a team in the Tampa Bay Rays that leads the league in K percentage. This team strikes out more than any other team in the league, right? 26.1% K rate. Going up against a pitcher in Chris Sale that is second in K per 9 to Danny Salazar, who's not been very great this year. So you got Chris Sale against Tampa Bay Rays, a team that strikes out a lot against a guy that throws probably the best pitcher that throws the most strikeouts. So that instantly tells me Sale is probably going to be 100% owned. He should be. I'm playing him. I'm not even going to get cute with that. I'm playing Sale in the early. Sale will be 100% owned. The sharps believe they will have an edge fading him. I'm playing Sale tomorrow. I am, most certainly. Automatic, right? So Blake Snell being a lefty, looking at his last few games, you've got 0.65, 19, 7.8, 8.45, 13.8. Not a lot of great stuff from him there. Not a lot of great stuff from Blake Snell. So that leads me to believe that some of these Boston riders are going to be in play for me. Maybe a Boston stack. You look at Bogarts, Mookie Betts, who let everybody down today. Nobody's going to want to play Mookie. I like him in this spot. Definitely think you can take a look at at Handy Ramirez if he does play. So I like this. I'm good. I'm good. Give me a Boston stack with Chris Sale. I like that. And I don't have to go complete stack on Boston. Maybe a couple of Boston one-offs. But I'm gonna play Chris Sale. I love him. Next game we're talking about is the Houston Astros and my New York Yankees. Just got word out of New York that this is a game, Pedroia, yes, definitely. This is a game that could very well rain out. So you want to be careful in this spot, okay? As a matter of fact, I don't think this game is going to play at all. I really do not think this game is going to play. You got Mike Fiers and Luis Severino. I would have liked Severino in this spot against the Astros. They haven't been crushing lately, so I would have played Severino in this spot and not played Mike Fiers. I would have attacked them with some Yankee bats, but this game probably will not play tomorrow. Next game we're talking about Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays. Still probably not going to have Robinson Cano, and if Robinson Cano was not in the lineup tomorrow, that's going to shift my focus a little bit to Marcus Stroman. I kind of like Stroman at 9.5. Very solid right-hand pitcher. Looking over the last few games for Stroman, you've got 14, negative 4.65, 28, 29, 0.7, negative 0.7, 21.95, 21.45. So the dude is consistent. Dude is consistent. And as much as I wish that Kershaw bombing tonight would like affect Sale's ownership, I don't think it is. Sale's still going to be super high owned, as he should be. He's talking about my Houston Astros. Sandy Leon in the Boston stack. Good reverse splits. I dig that. That's coming from Ronald Hahn. I can dig that. I definitely can dig that. So, Dylan Overton, the lefty, started one game, 6.5 fantasy points against the Texas Rangers. Easily a guy that you can target, man. The Blue Jays bats have officially woken up. Most definitely. And I think you can play some of these. They're still going to be low owned. They're still going to be low owned. You're not going to see tons of ownership on these guys. Kendrys Morales, Justin Smoke, Steve Pierce hits a jack tomorrow. You heard it, right? You heard it. Steve Pierce hits a jack tomorrow if he starts. Because I know there's been talks about Josh Donaldson coming back, but I like Pierce jumps off to me right now, real quick. I like him. You can stack. Give me all the righties against Dylan Overton in this spot. Hamilton looks like he tweaked something trying to catch a ball in the outfield. So that's where I'm at. Like some Marcus Stroman and some Toronto Blue Jays bats. There's no over-under for this game yet. It is a 2 mile per hour wind going out toward center field, but it's a dome, so it doesn't really matter. 4% chance of very light rain, 59 degrees. What we got? Next game we're talking about is the Cincinnati Reds and the San Francisco Giants. You got. Let's make sure we know who the fuck this is for the Giants here. Let's open this up. Because we got this Bonilla and Matt Moore here for the Giants. What do you know about Lisalverto Bonilla? Play the Cincinnati pitcher. It's coming from Josh Dewey. You got to give us some background on that, big homie. And see, the 13 mile per hour wind in a pitcher's park here. That's gonna be a contrarian play. I don't think a lot of people are gonna want to play him, and I'm kind of inclined to take a look. Jeremy Dad says all the Bonilla playing with Sale. Yeah, played him lightly, but kind of knew it. I mean, I've got nothing on him except that he's a hard throwing ratty in a pitcher's park against a team that has not been hitting the ball very well. Anthony Hooks, what's up, big homie? Good to see you in the spot, man. Then you got Matt Moore, the lefty. You can play Cincinnati all day. Billy Hamilton, Cozart, Suarez, Duvall. I kind of like those guys. Maybe even some Joey Votto in the spot. You can play those guys without question. Next game is the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. Now look at this. Is a 5-player stack too big? Would a low one be better? It depends on the game. It depends on the game. Like tonight, if you had stacked Arizona 5 deep, you're in the money. Eddie Lack says Moore's gonna get lit up. I can agree with that. It depends. Now I like a 4-man stack. I mean, that's usually where I'm at. I'm usually at where I'm at. A 4-man stack is usually where I am. But there's nothing wrong with going 5 deep if you really like it. If you really think that those guys, can feed off of each other, you know what I mean, to score, you can use that definitely. So take a look at this though, because all right, look at the first 3 games. I had 5. Jeremy last he's had 5 catch from Arizona. All right, so the first 3 games are going to be Tampa Bay and Boston, Houston and the Yankees, and Seattle and Toronto, which the Houston Yankee game probably won't play. So it's going to be a 5-game slate. Okay. Now this is theoretic. This is theoretical. If you just play the afternoon slate with the 3-4 o'clock games, you're gonna have such a unique lineup. Number one, you're not gonna have Chris Sale, so the lineup's gonna be super unique. You're not gonna have any exposure to Boston bats, Tampa Bay bats, Seattle or Toronto bats and pitchers. You're gonna be just locked into Cincinnati, San Francisco, Chicago, St. Louis, and Minnesota, Cleveland. Now, would I suggest doing this? What I say? Yo, thank you, man. Get the fuck out of here. Thank you. Dude just donated me like $5. Fuck yeah. Damn. That's kill, bro. Yo, thank you. From the bottom, bro. That means something to me. That's half a pack of Pampers, B. Shit. Thank you. So, and I'm not saying do this tomorrow and don't play Sale. I'm just talking about how different your lineup will be just by focusing on the turbo slate inside of a 6-game slate. I mean, that's automatically you're gonna have one of the most unique lineups because number one, you're not gonna have Sale, and you're not gonna have Boston bats. You know what I'm saying? Josh Dew said he had 5 Arizona bats as well. So you're gonna have a very unique lineup. And I'm not saying do this tomorrow, but I'm just saying when you look at these slates, those are ways you can attack them. And I might just do it to show you, and don't play Sale in one lineup, but just have exposure to Cincinnati, San Francisco, Chicago, St. Louis, and Minnesota, Cleveland, right? So looking at the Chicago Cubs, this game really pissed me off. I like the 5-man stack when I can get the catcher in. Otherwise, I like the 4-man stack. And let me tell you, I had a 5-man Chicago stack that I really, really loved. I really did. And after lineups locked, I learned that Chris Bryant was not playing. I had Contreras. I had Rizzo. I mean, it was a lineup that I really liked. I really liked this lineup. 2 things killed it. Number one, I had bum-ass Gonzalez. I had Miguel Gonzalez. And then I had Chris Bryant. That burned me up. You can have Martinez with Bonilla and Cleveland, Minnesota game stack. Yeah, you can. You can. Because I guarantee you, people are going to pay up for Sale in so many spots that they're not going to have exposure to some of the other bats that can really get off. You know what I mean? So that's a strategy that you can take a look at. So we got John Lester and Michael Wacha. Wacha hasn't been terrible. Nope. You got John Lester and Carlos Martinez. You got Carmart throwing out for the St. Louis Cardinals. So taking a look at him, man. Checking out the last 10-game log. Man. 21 against Miami. That was at Miami. 25 against Milwaukee. 18 against Toronto. Carlos Martinez has not been horrible, man. He's got 50 strikeouts on the season. 3.86 ERA. 2-3 win-loss ratio. 1.29 whip. Averaging 19 fantasy points per game. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. So Carlos Martinez against the Chicago Cubs. If I know Chris Bryant ain't playing, if I know Addison Russell ain't playing, I can take a shot at Carlos Martinez in this spot. I really can. This team struggles without those guys, man. They really do. Addison Russell comes up with some very solid pop at that shortstop spot. So it's gonna be tough. Now you got John Lester at 10.7. Do I want to target John Lester with some St. Louis bats in a 7.5 run total? I kind of have no choice. You could, yeah, and you can wrap it too. 9-1-2-3-4. Yes, you can do that as well. So I think I'm gonna avoid pitching in this game on a 6 game slate since I like Sale so much. I'm gonna avoid pitching in this game and really focus my attention towards some of the bats. And I'm gonna try to find cheaper bats in this spot definitely. Tommy Pham's still cheap. People are gonna be mad with him. So I like a few of the guys here. The last game on that 6 game slate is going to be the Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Indians. A 6 mile per hour wind going out towards short right field. 0% chance of rain. 64 degrees. You got 62%. 62% humidity in the spot. So take a look at the pitching in this game. You got Mike Clevenger and Jose Barrios. Yo, Clevenger did the deal for me last time I played him, bro. I didn't have any issue with Clevenger. Clevenger got some stuff, man. Damn, he's priced up to. Yo, Clevenger went ham on Kansas City last time, and he's priced up to 7.5. I can't play him at that. You could have Martinez, but okay. Yeah, I can't play Clevenger at that price. That's just way too much. Because Clevenger last time was 4.9, and I played him to fit in, to fit Scherzer in. I played him to fit Scherzer. But yeah, Minnesota's too hot right now to spend that much on him. Yeah, Minnesota's playing too hard right now to spend that much on him. As a matter of fact, you got a 9-run total in the spot. 50 dew point, 6 mile per hour wind. Yo. Yeah, I can't play Mike Clevenger here. I'm going to be all about the bats here. I'm going to be all about the bats in this spot, man. He had a big game versus Kansas City who was struggling, yeah. And now Kansas City done turned it around. Sano. Hey, yo, you gotta ride Sano. Like, yeah, you gotta ride Sano. That was like the easiest homer to like guess tonight. Everybody was on Sano. You all were on Sano. Minnesota Sano is at 5.2. Is that too much? You know what? I tend to think that if you think a batter is in a good spot, there is no too much. The only people that can be, I'm gonna be honest with you, the only people that can be priced up too much are pitchers. It doesn't really matter the price of a hitter if you have the intuition that a hitter is gonna go out and crash and smash. Because think about it, if a pitcher doesn't have to do much to really make virtual value. You know what I mean? Dude goes out and scores 12 points. Would you take 12 points at 5.2? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Would you take 11 points, 10 points at 5.2? Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Even if you're hoping for 18, 20, you'll take 12. You know what I mean? So, now would you take 12 for a pitcher at 5.2? You're like, no, man. You're trying to get 50 points at the bare minimum out of your pitching, no matter how much you pay for them. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much you pay for your pitching, you're trying to get 50 points out of that because you got 2 spots on DK. So if you got a guy that gets 35, if a guy gets 15, you're like, all right, cool, 50, that's good. But the other 7 spots, I should be good. But the other 7 spots, or 8, whatever. 5 teams have the number 1 starters going in the early. Way too many pivots to play Sale for me. Okay, it's coming from Edwin Neves. So if Edwin Neves already feels like this is a situation where he doesn't have to play Sale, and he restricts his player pool to just those 3 games at the back end of that 6-game slate, because we know we're probably not going to see the Houston and the Yankees game. If he does that, do you know how unique this lineup will be? But it's not him trying to be unique. It's just him rostering in the short span of games, 3 games. With the 5K guys, you are paying for the floor. Exactly. Coming from Jeremy Ladd, you're playing for the floor. What's the worst this guy's going to do? He probably won't hit a jack, but he'll probably be 2 for 5 with a double and an RBI. I'm good. Give me that. I'll roll. My wife's sleeping. Don't worry about it. Don't tell her. So, and I can do this shit all night long, bro. I think Sale hits 40 to get points now, and to now I'm gonna shift and tell you what I really feel, Because I mean, a lot of what I want to do is I want you to understand your real feeling and then roster according to what you feel. I don't want to take you off of anybody. I'm gonna tell you what I feel. I'm playing Sale. I'm playing Sale. Two reasons why I'm playing Sale. Dude is a K machine, number one, and he's playing a team that strikes out more than any other team in the fucking league. So even if he gives up 2 or 3 runs, okay, if a dude has like 13K upside, he can give up 5 runs and still be good. He can pitch 7 innings, give up 5 runs, get 13 Ks, and still score 32 DraftKings points. I'm good with that. I'll take that. At 13K, I'll take that. Because then all I got to do is find a guy around that 6 to 7, between 6 and 8K that can get me the other 18 points, and then I'm good. Yo, I think 13Ks. Yeah, Tampa Bay is horrible. Ks versus lefties. Sale pitched to contact last year. This year has changed, yes. Like, he is throwing the ball by people. Really. I mean, it's very rare you catch a pitcher with, like, fastball deception. Usually, it's like, yo, I'm going to overpower you with motherfucking fastball, whatever. But the dude has, like, the deception in the fastball is nuts. It's nuts. So, it's a guy that you got to take a look at. I like him. I want him. So we opened it up a little bit. And look at that Chris Sale, man. 1.92 walks per 9. One of the league lows. The league lowest in home runs per 9. He has a floor of double digit strikeouts. That's insane. Yeah. Like 0.35 home run per 9. Dude does not give up home runs like that. 264 BABIP. I mean, Sale's nuts. 1.92 ERA. You know what I mean? The dude is nuts. 1.45 FIP. So, very solid. Yeah, Sale is good to go tomorrow. And I'm not moving. I'm really not. So, that's who I like. Give me some of the bats in this spot for the Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Indians. Give me some bats there. I'll be good. So, I love them too. I'm just not going to get stuck having to play suspect bats. Right. Not many cash guys are good GBB guys. Sale is one of those guys, definitely. The blood's flowing. I think we should go ahead and talk a little bit about the pitching for the main slate as well, the 9-game main slate. So I'm gonna pop that open too. Fuck it, we rolling. I sleep when I'm dead. You know what I mean? So the first game on that on the main slate is gonna be Philadelphia, the Phillies, and the Washington Nationals. Finally, 0% chance of rain in Washington, so it looks like the Nationals are gonna play a game. Wow, that's dope. That's dope. So we got. I'm gonna open it up, take a look. We're gonna go back here. Open up that main. And first game we got is the Nationals and the Phillies. We got Tanner Roark and Nick Pivetta in the spot. Okay? Same thing goes like we talked about the other day. I am attacking Tanner Roark. I like Abdul Herrera. I like Michael Saunders. Give me the lefties. Cesar Hernandez. Give me some Cesar Hernandez tomorrow, 3.9. I love him. Pour him on me, baby, in the main slate. I like him. For the Washington side, the usual suspects apply. You can play any number of the Washington guys against Nick Pivetta. He averaging 10.3 fantasy points per game, 5.4 ERA, 11 Ks in 2 starts. He lost both starts. Play some Nationals tomorrow, definitely. No problem with Nationals. Play him. Next game is going to be San Diego and the Chicago White Sox. We got Dylan Covey and Trevor Cahill. Cahill's going to be a very, very popular play in my opinion. Cahill's going to be a popular play. Yeah, Dylan Covey, Trevor Cahill. He's going to be a very popular play, and I'm going to show you why. He's priced up to 9.3, which is up, but over the last 4 games, man, 25, 29, 12.95, and 27. Very solid scores over the last 4 games. We've seen kind of an awakening of sorts of the San Diego Padres bats. They cost me a lot of money today by knocking around Miguel Gonzalez. The confidence should be up. There's 9-mile-per-hour wind, 49% humidity, 71 degrees, and 0% chance of rain. The White Sox, we got Dylan Covey there. Not in love with him. In this spot, he's at 5.3. But, I mean, these are still the San Diego Padres. These are still the Padres. Take a look at Covey. -3, 0.4, 8, -9. No, do not play Dylan Covey. As a matter of fact, I think attack work. What am I missing? Yes, I'm attacking work. Yeah, I like work. Well, the BVP is what does it. Go check out some BVP against with Abdul Herrera, Cesar Hernandez against Roark. They crush him. They do. Vladimir Mendez says Hedges was clutch for him last night. I can dig it. Josh Dewey says Cahill is a good play in this spot. I like him too. At 9.3, he's priced up a little bit, but I like him. Because you look at over the last few starts, man, Cahill was priced all the way down. This is the highest price he's been all year long. Might be a solid fade spot, though. 7.6 last time, got you 25. 5K got you 29. It could be a solid fade spot for him. I'm not paying that much for Cahill. Yeah, that's too much. I'm not playing Cahill tomorrow. And I'm not going to attack him because I think he's a decent play, but he's just too costly. 9.3 is a lot. It is. I'm not going to attack Cahill tomorrow. I'm not going to play him. Next game is the Atlanta Braves and the Miami Marlins. We got Julio Teheran against Anderson Volquez. Let's check on DraftKings to make sure that is what it is. Yep, we got Julio Teheran, Edison Volquez. Teheran is a no for me. I'm not on Teheran. He's a guy that I like to attack. 12-mile-per-hour wind. This game is in Miami, man. Yeah, give me some of this. Give me some Miami bats. I like them. Early states, I'm looking at Sale, Martinez, Lester, and Berrios. I can do that. That's coming from Samuel Like the Drum. I can do that. I've got no issue there. But give me all the left-handed bats in Miami tomorrow against Teheran. I'll take him. Volquez, not a guy that I'm particularly on. 15, 6.75, 6.65, negative, 11, 14, 20. Best start was the first start against the Washington Nationals. He's been kind of shit ever since. Looking at Teheran again. You see him. Best game he had all year long was against Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, against the Mets in New York. He had 17.45, but not a very good pitching performance for him we saw the last couple of times. So I'm not going to be on him. Taking a look here, the Atlanta Braves, when it comes to K rate, are one of the more disciplined batting teams in the league at 20.1% K rate. So I like Volquez. I mean I like the Braves in this spot. I will be attacking Volquez here. No issue with that at all. And some of the guys I like, of course, going to be the usual suspects. That's going to be Inciarte, Freeman, Matt Kemp, and maybe some Nick Markakis in the spot. I like those guys. I'm going to be attacking Volquez with those guys tomorrow. 8.5 run total, yeah, sign me up. I like bats on both sides, really. New York Mets and the Milwaukee Brewers is the next game. We've got Robert Gesselman and Zach Davies. We're going to check over on DraftKings to make sure, in fact, that's who we're going to be seeing. Davies and Gesselman it is. Gesselman is down to 5.8, bro. Ooh. This is tough. This is tough. Gesselman is down to 5.8 in this spot. And the last few games have not been good. 7.85, 0.45, negative 4.8, 18.35 was his best start of the season against the Philadelphia Phillies. But, man, that 5.8 is attractive to me. And you talk about the Milwaukee Brewers, man. They're a team that strikes out quite a bit. They're second behind the Tampa Bay Rays with a 24.8% K rate. The only thing is, man, that ISO and the WOBA is off the chain. 210 ISO, one of the highest in the league, and a 331 WOBA. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough to play. But I am considering it though. I will have a stack of this whole game tomorrow in one lineup, and especially Zach Davies, who struggles against left-handed bats, and that's all you're gonna see from the Mets. You're talking about Conforto, Cabrera, Jay Bruce, who Jay Bruce kind of let a lot of people down today. I think he does bounce back against Zach Davies. So this is definitely a game that you can look at as a game stack. Bruce, Conforto, Walker, Duda, yeah. Perez is a lock. Safety bat in third, cheap. You all in? I can dig it. I like Travis Shaw, Thames. Man, Shaw, Thames, yeah, man. This is gonna be a good one. This is a stackable game all day. This game we're talking about is the Baltimore Orioles and the Kansas City Royals. We got Kevin Guzman and Nate Carnes, and this is gonna be funny because we've seen an awakening of the Kansas City Royals bats over the last few games, and Guzman or Gaussman, however you say it, has really sucked, man. Last game against Washington had a really good outing, 28.15, but up until then, man, his highest score was 17 against Toronto. He had 10 against Toronto, 3.9 against New York, negative 13 against Cincinnati. Dude, he's been struggling the first part of the season. Word, like he's been struggling the first part of the season. So after that good game last time against Washington, do you think he turns it around and shows the Kansas City Royals that they are actually the Kansas City Royals and pitches well against them? That's gonna be tough. At 8.1, you got Nate Carnes, who had a very solid start last time out. 28.85 and 30.3 were his last two starts. Lowest game of the season was against Texas at 5.7. So I think Carnes is a guy that definitely deserves some consideration at 7.9. Even though it's going to be against the Baltimore Orioles. So, there's some good pitching, man. This is a thinking man slate right here. Edmund Neve says there is no total in the main under 8.5. Next, we got Texas Rangers at home, Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. 0% chance of rain, 5-mile-per-hour wind, 42% humidity. It's clear. 81 degrees, gonna be hot out there. We've got Sonny Gray and Nick Martinez. Let's make sure that we have those guys pitching here. Yep, Sonny Gray and Nick Martinez. Don't like you need to pitch in this game. It's a 9.5 run total. The bats are gonna be where it's at. Definitely you can attack Nick Martinez with some of those lefties from Oakland, and Sonny Gray, the same thing, man. Shin Chu Chu, Nomar Matsara, Gallo just hit a jack last night. You got Odor. It's another Texas stack game. How you doing says stack the righties against Carnes. I like it. Now, we got another game for the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Arizona Diamondbacks. 14-mile-per-hour wind in the dome. 13% humidity. 0% chance of rain. 96 degrees. It's going to be hot in Arizona again. Just stack the D-backs. What do you think about Taijuan Walker? He's priced up to $9K. And looking at his last few starts, man, that hasn't really warranted him being priced up that much. So I'm probably not going to be on Taijuan Walker in this spot. Neither will I be on Trevor Williams. For me, this game, is all about the batting. Oh, is the game over? Did somebody hit a home run? Like, who hit it? What the fuck happened? Can I get my money now? Damn. I'm ready to build some lineups, baby. So yeah, give me Jake Lamb. Give me all the Jake Lamb. Right now, I'm taking a stand, and I'm gonna stand up. Jake Lamb hits a jack tomorrow. Book it. Jake Lamb hits a jack tomorrow. I'm gonna be 100% Jake Lamb at 4.7. I love him in this spot. Love Jake Lamb. Peralta, also a guy you can take a look at. Posey hit the jack. Son of a bitch. That might have knocked me out the cash. Damn. I wish the pitcher would have hit it. That'd have been dope. So, yeah, love a lot of the D-backs again tomorrow. Not really on. The only guy that I kind of like in this spot is Polanco. Polanco has been crushing. I think he hit 2 jacks in his last 2 games. Yeah, he hit one against Greinke, and then he hit one last night. Tonight. So I think you can rock with him in this spot. I really do. Next game on the slate is going to be the Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies. Another 11-point total. We've got 10-mile-per-hour wind going out toward right field. 77 degrees. 0% chance of rain in the spot. 32 is the dew point. We've got Alex Wood and Tyler Anderson. Let's be sure. Make sure that's who we got. There it is. Tyler Wood. Alex Wood, Tyler Anderson. Play the bats in the spot. No issue there. You can play some of the bats. We've got the Dodgers have been struggling in some spots against lefties. And see, right now, you say lock in Arenado at 5.7. Well, I'd rather play Jake Lamb. And after we run through this, we're going to check out some BVP stuff too. But I mean, I can see the need for Arenado, especially against Alex Wood. You know, you look at Desmond can be a solid play in the spot. Maybe some Charlie Blackmon, maybe. He does hit lefties good at home. I don't have an issue with him. Not completely in love with a lot of the Dodgers bats, though. I'm not really in love with the Dodgers bats. Right. No one will be on Wood because of Kershaw results. I can dig that. Looking at Alex Wood here. 35 points last time out against Pittsburgh. 18 against San Francisco. 22 against San Francisco. 9.7 against Arizona. And 9.45 against Chicago. So Wood has not been bad this season. He hasn't. And you can consider him if you like. Last game on the slate is going to be the Detroit Tigers and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I get this game is guaranteed because it is the Angels to go into extra innings. Could probably even play 17 innings in this spot. Mike Trout will not hit a home run because he hit one last night, and we're going to want to play him tonight, and he's not going to hit another home run. That's just the way that's going to work. Looks like we've got Daniel Norris and Ricky Nolasco. Now, the last time out, I think Nolasco was facing some horrid BVP numbers and ended up really playing well in spite of those. Finished with 28.75 DraftKings points against Oakland. And I was I kind of attacked them and really didn't do well with it. So take a look at Detroit, man. Not a lot of left-handed power that I do like. So I'm going to be kind of curving some of the Detroit bats. But Daniel Norris, man, against the Angels, I think this could finally be a get-right spot, man. You look at Mike Trout, Pujols, Simmons, the guy I kind of like in the spot. Maybe some Escobar there against Daniel Norris. Because he hasn't been very good this year either. 4 in his last game, 26 against Cleveland, 2 against Seattle, 4 against Tampa Bay, 6.25 against Boston, and 23 against Cleveland. And last week was home run fun. Knock him around, baby. So, really nice all-day slate. Pretty cool. Early slate. Boss. Main slate at 7 o'clock. It's going to be some good stuff. All right? So, let's go ahead and check out. Let's go over to Swish, man, and see what some BVP matchups look like. And I'm going to report those to you as well. And check that out. Go check out Swish. Because I don't give a fuck what nobody tells you. BVP is important. It is. It does matter. Don't let nobody tell you it doesn't. Funny thing, I logged in on my Facebook, and now I don't know what the password is, so I just have to log in with my Facebook. So let's check it out. Look at some BVP, and if there's any other stats that you want me to look up for you really quick, just let me know. It's not an issue. I'm here to serve. Okay, so right off the bat, you see Marcelo Zuna batting .417 against Julio Teheran in 36 at-bats. 15 hits on him, 3 home runs, but he does have 6 strikeouts. So let's go check out the average to see exactly where we sit. And we're looking for sample size here. Large sample size, right? Like we got Tyler Flowers against Volquez, batting .538 with 2 strikeouts and 13 at-bats. Not a big enough sample size to really buy into that. We've got Justin Upton, okay, against Ricky Nolasco. 27 at bats. I mean, excuse me, 27 plate appearances, 25 at bats. 2 home runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, batting 440. I like that. The cash line is going to be high tomorrow. I can agree. Matt Kemp against Volquez in 20 plate appearances, 16 at bats. He's batting 438 with a home run, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. That's something to take a look at as well. Take a look here at Abdul Herrera against Tanner Rourke. We just talked about that. In 24 plate appearances, 21 at bats, he's batting 429 with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. I like that. Ozuna, we talked about him already. You got Charlie Blackmon in 11 at bats against Alex Wood. 1 strikeout, 4 hits out of 10 at bats, batting 400. Not a huge sample size, but we can look at it. We got Victor Martinez against Nolasco in this spot. 23 plate appearances, 20 at bats, batting 400 with 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Shin Shusu against Sonny Gray in 23 at bats, 23 plate appearances, 21 at bats, batting 381 with 5 strikeouts. That's a lot of strikeouts. That's a lot of strikeouts, but still good. Looking at some more BVP stuff we got. Yonder Molina against John Lester in 37 plate appearances, 33 at bats, 11 hits for him, no jacks, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts, batting 333. Corey Seager against Tyler Anderson, hit a home run, a walk, 2 strikes, batting 333 against him. Mike Moustakas against Tillman, batting 333 with a home run, 4 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Christian Yelich against Tehran is batting 324 with 6 strikeouts and 6 walks, no jacks. But he does have 11 hits. Pretty good. That's pretty good. We got Zobrist against Martinez, batting 313. Justin Bour against Tehran, batting 308 with a home run. Bour is pretty hot lately. D. Gordon, who's been batting a little bit further down the order lately, batting 304. So that's pretty solid. So we got some pretty decent BVP stuff here. Ian Kinsler against Nolasco, batting 300 with 2 strikeouts. I like that. We can use that. So now let's look at some stolen base stuff. Let's look at some stolen base stuff. Look at some targets for stolen bases. Yeah, the Miami stat might be in play, most definitely. All right, so Billy Hamilton against Matt Moore is not huge. It's a bad stolen base opportunity. People don't like that. We've got Rajai Davis against Nick Martinez. Looks to be a good way to go if you wanted to grab a guy that's going to steal a bag. Maybe some, of course, D. Gordon against Tehran. Looks like a good bet to steal a bag there. So I think we can rock with him in some spots. Gerard Dyson against Marcus Stroman, the guy that we talked about. Segura against Marcus Stroman. Trout against Daniel Norris, So Abdul Herrera against Tanner Rourke. These are all stolen base targets. So, and they have historical matchups against these pitchers. So there's something else we can take a look at, right? Now, let's go out, man. Let's go out and do it. Let's have a good one, okay? This is the longest video I've ever done. But the first, 40 minutes of the video, we talked a lot about strategy, man. And that's what really will separate us from a lot of other people, man. Because I want you to get strategies down. Ebenezer Pollock. Yeah, fuck yeah, I love him. I like a lot of the Arizona guys tomorrow. So, let's go out, man. Have a good one. Have a very solid one. Get to the money. Let's get to the money. And I was here. My dude, thank you. Shout out to everybody that stayed up with me, man. It's damn near 4 in the morning Eastern time. Thank y'all so much, bro. Thank y'all. And it's for the love of the game. It's for the love of y'all. That's why I do this, man. So meet me back here tomorrow at 5. At 5. For the line drive at 5. Where we're going to go a little bit more in-depth. We get those final batting orders and get those. And we're going to go a little bit more in-depth. It's Saturday. So, please bear with me, okay? I'm going to be at the barbershop. I'm going to try to get out there in time to get the line drive at 5 done. If I have an issue, I will let you know, okay? So, love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. Remember, make some lineups in the turbo, throw them bitches in the main, and no matter what you do, keep it 300.